going to read the minutes from our last meeting, November 7, 2011. Supervisor Jennings called the meeting to order at 7 p.m. Supervisors Ellison, meeting president. Minutes from the previous meetings were approved with a motion made by Gerald Ellis, seconded by Matt Newman. Motion to approve financial report and pay bills and payroll was made by Matt Newman, seconded by Gerald Ellis. Gerald Ellis gave a report on the roads and work being done. New road name signs will be going up, replacing missing and hand-painted signs. Those in attendance were asked about the conditions of the roads they traveled to work. Most said the roads were in good shape, with some potholes they mentioned on the shopping food. Gerald Ellis made the motion to pay $50 plus mileage to officials from the township attending county conventions. Matt Newman seconded. Supervisors adopted a resolution naming Joe Ellis as the township's designated agent for FEMA and FEMA. Matt Newman made the motion and Jennings seconded. The Shields compressor station was reviewed and discussed. Supervisors had no objections. Kevin Mitchell questioned the noise level. Supervisors thought that DEP or the County Planning Commission had set maximum levels for such. An NOI for the Hess well was reviewed along with the permit application for A&M Hitter Tank Pad centralized treatment facility. Matt Newman made the motion for a winter maintenance agreement with Springville Township. Springville will plow and cinder all of Teal Hill Road and Wilbur Road. In return, Dimock will plow and cinder all of Fitch Hill Road and Huntsville Road. Gerald Ellis seconded the motion. Meeting adjourned at 7:35 p.m. Any additions or corrections? Motion to approve the minutes. Approved financial report and bills. The bills are listed. We have a balance in our general fund of $169,032. And our state funded bills are also listed with a balance of $46,233.94. Thank you. Now, before we get into the rest of the agenda, because this is an unusual nature of a meeting, we're going to set some ground rules. Groups of the same persuasion should designate one person to speak for them. Speakers will give their name, address, and who they represent, and speak from the designated area, which will be right there at that table with that candidate. But on the floor. Each speaker will have 5 minutes to present, and speakers will address the issue at hand. And when we get to the mutual aid agreement, the issue is going to be, should Dimock request aid? That will be the issue. I'd like a motion for the ground rules. Matt? Thank you. Okay, first, tentative budget. We put together a tentative budget for the township. There's a copy available. We have a copy here, and anyone interested in obtaining a copy can call the township building or call me, and I'll be glad to give them a copy, and I'll be glad to go over it with them if they so request. We need to set a date for adoption of this budget and to advertise. And I recommend that we set the date for December 30th for adoption around 10 a.m. Does that sound good to you guys? Motion for that? Jerry. Okay, we also have a part-time job open. A qualified applicant must have a CDL license and be available anytime we need plowing or singling done. If anyone is interested, or if you know anyone that may be interested in this part-time job, please see Gerald Ellis after the meeting, or anytime after that. He has an application. We have a resolution from People's Bank after our two supervisors, George Baker and Ed Vernon. We never changed chairman, and we never took their names off and added that. So I need a motion to accept the resolution to add that meeting, signature to the accounts, take a motion made by Jack, second. Okay. The mutual aid agreement. Before we get started on that, I'd like to just fill everybody in on what we're talking about and a little bit of a timeline that happened. On Thursday morning, we were notified by the mayor of Binghamton. He called, or his office called, in English, and offered to truck water down to the people on Carter Road, because their water deliveries were shut off November 30th. The mayor wanted us to sign a mutual aid agreement. Thursday evening, I picked up a copy of the mutual aid agreement at the Saunders home, and at that particular time, the mayor had called, and I talked to him on their phone, and I told him that I have the agreement, that it would not be signed until our solicitor had reviewed it. Friday in the morning, I faxed a copy of the agreement to our solicitor, Sam Lewis, for his review. I didn't talk to Sam. He was not in his office at that time. I talked to his secretary, and she told me that she'd give it to Sam. I went to the Township building, showed the other supervisors the agreement, and they also said to have the solicitor review it. Ron Carter stopped in. He wanted to be, basically he wanted to know what he could do. He wanted to be reconnected to his well because he needed water. And he wanted to know who would pay for it. So I called Guy Parrish, who called Cabot's attorneys, and he got the okay to reconnect Ron Carter's well and Ferentino's well, if she so wanted. During this time, we were on the phone, coordinating all this stuff. Other residents stopped in to express their views as they heard about this request. And I it went from, like the opinion went from not signing the request to now we're blocking water deliveries. We were getting so many phone calls here at the building, it was just unbelievable. Matt and I went to Cabot's office. We talked to Janice Liddell and George Stark. They gave us a copy of, we were given a copy of an EPA statement. That just came out that morning. We asked about reconnecting the other wells if residents so wanted. And George said that the offer of the treatment system and to reconnect the water is still out on the table. So that, as far as I know, that offer is still there from Cabot. So that's kind of where we're standing up until now. Sam has, he's reviewed the agreement, and we're open for comment. name and where you're from?
How you doing? My name is Jim Grimsley. I live in Dimock. I moved here 7 years ago. I live down on 29, about a half a mile south of PennDOT. Without getting into an issue of the water, the issue before us here, which I wish I'd read I wish you had read the, what do we want to call it, the agreement that Binghamton is looking for you to sign. I don't know if I exactly call that a mutual aid. I call that a little more of them saying they're coming down here to supply the town of Dimock with water. And that is not what they're doing. They're certainly not supplying me with water. I have plenty of fine water. And I think the vast majority of people in here do. But the issue is really not the water. The issue is whether or not we want to sign something requesting, and I do believe that's what it says. It's a request for us to sign, or for you gentlemen to sign, asking Binghamton to supply water. Now, I don't see any reason why we should have to do that. This town is quite capable of taking care of itself. This has got to the point where it's all over the country. Every time on the news, when you hear about Dimock, you think that everybody in Dimock is dying of thirst. That's not true. I have relatives that live out on Long Island. They send me articles out of the New York Times. I have relatives that live in Florida. I have my brother lives in California. The guy wants to know how black and greasy the water is that I drink. My water is not black and it's not greasy. I'm not saying that people don't have a problem with the water. That's not my issue. My issue is the town of Dimock. Right now, that request, as far as I'm concerned, is nothing more than a political ploy. That's all it is. And how the mayor of Binghamton got his nose into this is beyond me. I would say that's the majority of people speaking. Okay? I really don't have a lot more to say. I enjoy living in this town. I want to stay here. But we really are getting a bad name outside of this area. And it's really not fair. And I think if we sign that, you sign that tonight, tomorrow morning, I'll guarantee you, every one of these news media people are going to have it right out in front, that the supervisors of Dimock beg for water from Binghamton. And we don't need water from Binghamton. By the way, the mayor of Binghamton did this kind of on his own, because I watch a little bit of the news too once in a while, and it didn't seem like everybody up there was in favor of it. They've got their own problems, and I feel bad for them, but that's their problems, not ours. And let them take care of their own problems. We certainly can handle this down here. That's all I got.
I am the mayor of Binghamton, so I can answer you. Yay! Let's just have a fair hearing of this. This is how it went down. I got a request from the people who were shut off of the water. We went through 2 really bad floods during my time as mayor. We had mutual aid. That without it, we wouldn't have been able to survive. Mutual aid usually is provided by bigger communities to help smaller communities. I called the supervisors, and I want to tell you about the conversations. I talked to first Mr. Ellis, and I talked to Mr. Neiman. Mr. Neiman told me, I asked him, I said, I don't want to come down there if you have the capability of doing this yourself. Do you have the capability of delivering water to those residents yourself? And he says, no, we don't. So that's why I got involved. You do not have the capability to deliver water, unless he wasn't telling me the truth, to those individuals who don't have water. So that's why I got involved. I believe that mutual aid is very important to communities. If you guys don't want it, I won't bring it. That's as simple as that. I'm not here to tell you how to live your lives. But I was asked, I was told there wasn't a way to get the water. They didn't have the capability of getting water to those residents. So I offered to do it. The reason that document, I can't do it unless you sign it. I can't bring mutual aid on my own. It's not legal. But if it's a request, it takes a request to help people across communities. You have to have a request.
Can I ask you that?
Huh?
Who brought water down today? Was that you?
Yes.
We didn't sign this document, but why did we have to sign it
Then
last
you
week?
tell me that if you want to bring water down, go
I
ahead and do it.
absolutely did, but that was Friday, and you made,
Okay.
I had calls at my house all weekend, as did the other supervisors.
Okay, but can I answer your question? Can I answer your question?
Go ahead.
The reason why I brought water down today is because the Sierra Club paid for it. That's a different thing. You don't have to ask for mutual aid. Wait a second. The rules are, you can laugh. Wait a second. You can laugh, but the rules are that say mutual aid, I can't come across for mutual aid. We sell water to people all the time to fill their swimming pools. I checked with my,
You sold them the water?
what?
You sold them the water?
Yes.
Okay.
We pay,
That's a
Sierra
really
Club,
bad first
Sierra Club paid close to $400 for the water.
So
And
all liability is on you.
The city trucks delivered it from there.
yes,
So all liability is on the city of Binghamton.
that's right. And we had an agreement from attorneys that represent the people from water. Their lawyer wrote out a thing saying hold harmless agreement for the city. I covered that because I don't want our city to be liable. But let's just be honest here. These people don't have water. You don't have the capability of providing it.
I haven't had water in my past, but I didn't ask the city of Binghamton to provide me with water.
Well, like I said, if you don't want to let these, if you don't
It has
request,
nothing to do with Castro.
if you don't request water for these people, if you don't request mutual aid, then we
What is
don't bring
mutual
it.
aid?
But we will bring it if people pay it.
What's mutual aid and what do you want in return?
I don't want anything. You guys get it for free. Take
Yeah,
it.
why do we need to sign this document?
So, yeah,
Because
exactly. Why
legally,
does
Sam will tell you,
involved?
you can't bring it unless you request it.
Because today.
Well, you just brought it, and they did
No, the
request.
delivery today wasn't mutual aid.
No, today.
The Sierra Club hired
Exactly.
the city of Binghamton to bring the water,
Right.
right?
Sierra Club paid us to bring water here today.
So you
That's
got
not
a
mutual aid.
liability and it was delivered
What's that?
legitimate, that's fine.
For how many?
For the people who don't have water. For everybody who didn't have water. Thank you very much.
Eric Bruce from Shopping Creek Road. Eric Bruce from Shopping Creek Road. And actually, I just want to ask, did you have a meeting on Friday? Were there three of you here, or two of you here on Friday?
We were all here Friday, we did not have a formal meeting, we had concerned citizens stopping by. As did members from
And
your group, whatever
who
you want to
called
call
the
them.
meeting to get
We
everybody?
didn't have a meeting, we had concerned citizens stopping by.
Did not, okay. So you just had a forum, but you didn't have a meeting.
We had concerned citizens that stopped by. I don't know how to make that any more clear than that. That's,
Was it
we
at
had,
the time you
as
decided-
did people from your group. I mean, it was people from both sides of the coin filtering in and out of here all day.
Was Cabot here? Don't have
Cabot was
one.
present, yes. So once,
Why did George start? Why did he speak to the town of Dimock? Is he on the payroll now?
George is not on our payroll, and I believe Mr. Jennings did make a statement in regards to that with straight times. It should have been out in state paper, wasn't
So you, on Friday though, you decided against the mutual aid
it?
agreement.
We didn't decide against it Friday, and we simply said we had to consult with our solicitor, who was out of the office.
So. All right.
We didn't block any water deliveries, it's as Mayor Ryan
It's
said.
more
we
than
didn't-
two of you together, it's a quorum.
Okay.
You had a meeting.
It wasn't a quorum. We're here for hours every day together, I mean, that's how you run a township.
Every time they get together to plow roads, it's against the law.
We did absolutely no
public business or township business.
Did you discuss mutual aid agreement? Blair, can I say that when you sounded
discuss
around
mutual aid agreement?
we did not.
You did not.
Well, actually, we did, didn't we, Paul? We touched on it,
Telling
yes,
us, we had residents stopping in expressing their grievance with it. They were discussing it with
because,
us.
so you didn't vote one way or the other?
No.
No vote. You're gonna do that this evening?
It's not signed. So why didn't
I know most of you people are against the people without water.
This is not costing you a dime.
Paul,
It's giving the
tell that lady to get off the
people
ladder
water.
before she falls and sues.
Get off the ladder.
Please.
We don't want to pay for your doctor bills.
So what? Cabot this year on Friday? How about that other trash I have no knowledge of the membership. Are there any minutes of that so-called non-meeting? It wasn't a meeting.
There was no meeting on Friday.
Never got the roads together. Never do that.
Gotta hire 5 more people to house roads.
This whole discussion gets to the point of being something like the theater of the absurd, because we keep talking about these efforts to bring water to a place that does not need water. Independent testing that has been analyzed by both the Department of Environmental Protection and by the EPA says that the permanent water supplies in this community, including the Carter Road area, are safe to drink.
There's no testing by EPA.
The individuals
No testing.
who have brought their lawsuit against Cabot have every right not to accept the treatment systems they've been offered. They have the absolute right not to reconnect their water. They have the absolute right to litigate till the cows come home. They do not have the right to try to force this township to take a position about the availability of water that is contrary to reality. There's no way that this township could sign that document without insulting their own integrity and the outstanding community that they represent, which is a safe, healthy, progressive place to live, which is moving forward. And we need to keep going.
Yes, go ahead. I'll get it. Somebody's coming up? Oh, I was.
Well, I thought everything was over with. But we believe EPA and DEP and water's fine, we're still here. Why we're here, I don't know. If the EPA says to the Army, don't go across that field, they don't go. And they're telling them, well, we're different, we're gonna tell them what they can do. Ain't working. And I'm tired of them running down our neighborhoods and our township. Because we've always had a wonderful township here. Now the whole state, the whole country thinks that our state, our township is nothing but a dump. And that's wrong. When a few people can rule for the rest. I can understand why everybody gets together, because it's a shame. This township's always stuck together, no matter what. To whatever disaster or whatever happened, we've always stuck together, and everything's come out just fine. And this is going to be the same way here. And we're not signing that stupid document, because if we sign that, that's just as much as saying we agree with you that we're at fault. And we don't want any part of it. I can't do that. You'll get my drift. We don't need water down here. Hey, by the way, Mayor, say hello to the GOP for us from down here.
Hi, I'm Letty Ellis, and I'm from Dimock, Wood Road. And I've been coming to the meetings on and off for a little while, and I hear a lot of things. Very simple, this is a small township, 18-plus residents. Yes, my heart goes out for those 12 families that don't have water. But number one, simplifying, every resident in this township has their own well. Every resident of this township is responsible for their own water. Every resident, if my well went bad, I couldn't come to the township and say my water went bad, dig me another well. No, I have to pay for that myself, okay? No one came to the township supervisors and asked them, oh, Cabot Oil is here and they want me to sign the lease. Should I? How does this affect Dimock? No. I signed the lease. I knew what the consequences may or may not be. Now, if the city of Binghamton wants to send water to these people, go for it. That has nothing to do with us. They're not giving me water. I got water. If my water went bad, I gotta pay the $15,000 to dig a new well. You know, if it was because of gas, oh well, I got the royalties, use that money to dig the well. You have to keep These supervisors were elected to help you along the way, but they're not gonna solve your problems. If you got a problem with the road, yeah, call them. They'll fix it. But they're not going to solve each and every private property problem. You know? You guys got lawsuits? Wait till the money comes in. Fix your well then.
Is there anyone else?
I'm Carl C. Fuller. I retired 3 years from the Department of Interior. I'm a chemist from the University of Pittsburgh. I've worked in this industry for 26 years. I'm not going to say pro or con. I'm just going to state the way wastewater drinking water works for liability. You have to decide where your jurisdiction starts and where it ends. For example, at a federal site where we had 2 federal workers, but we allowed public people to come in, we then had to have a water test every 3 months. When this trailer came up, I asked the mayor, did it come out of a certified water system? Was it tested? Are you liable for the coliform, the bacteria? Is the township liable for any legal action? There are grants, don't get me wrong, you can look at both ways. I'm talking as a pure chemist. I did this for 26 years, I've done it in cities, I was certified as a wastewater operator for the state of Texas, and drinking water. Whatever you decide as to liability and need. And there are ways to do both. You can get grants, you can get tests, you can get trailers, you can get gifts. The Sierra Club does this all the time, they did it with us. What we did was we worked a deal with the Sierra Club to take the liability away. Sierra Club actually signed a liability, and we actually had them pay for the water as a grant. The water was then delivered as a gift. Now the people that receive the water, when that water is received and it's put in your container and transferred, if it's not transferred, like the mayor said, from a certified system, there is some legal liability. Also, if New York State crosses Pennsylvania line, that's a DOT-regulated water system, and you may be jumping into the EPA. You just made your water EPA liable. 1984 Drinking Water Act, because you crossed the line. Once you cross the state line, the laws changed. So whatever you decide from a technical, scientific, I'm just saying, you can do it. There are ways to accomplish this. The gift waste here is done in the mountains a lot. Say a community has no water, drill it. I was in the natural gas industry. I had 3,000 wells in my jurisdiction. You think you have a few wells? I had a lot more. I'm a corrosion engineer. I've seen pipeline ruptures and then had to supply water for a community. If you're going to do a community, you say, okay, how much water we need? What's the projection for the year? What's the projection next year? Freeze control, whatever it is. Then you say, okay, here's what we're going to allow. Who's liable? Who's going to deliver? When does it stop? I'm just saying, if you want to do it, there are ways. If you don't want to do it, there are also liabilities. Thank you very much.
Hi, I live on Carter Road. My water is perfectly good. My neighbor's water is good. My test down is good. My cousin's house, a road, his water is perfectly fine. I drink their water every day. I don't have a Cabot system. I don't use Brita. I drink my water since the day I lived in my house. My thing is, if you were offered a system, take it. If you don't take it, that's your problem. You have a choice. My other problem is I can never sell my house now because of all the crazy chaos people with their signs in their yard and on their house. I can never move out of my house. I am stuck to my house for my life because I can't sell it. Because all they say is, I live on Carter Road, we will not buy my house. I can never move because of this. I'm stuck in my area, and so are my neighbors who have no complaints. We cannot sell our house for nothing. They have ruined my property because of their problems. So now I'm stuck. And I love my house.
Anyone else who would like to speak?
Good evening, folks. Craig Stevens, Silver Lake Township, Pennsylvania. Craig Sawyer couldn't be here tonight, so I'm speaking for him. I have a letter right here, folks. It was written last year by Secretary Hanger. If you want to read it, I'll just cover a part. They find Cabot completely liable. That's from the state DEP last year. This action is...
Last year.
How did it change, folks? Okay, hang on a second.
Liable for what?
Let them talk, please.
How about a roll call right here? Is Ron Rantiel here today?
Yep.
There's $357,992. Why did Cabot pay you that money? Edward J. Burke, are you here?
No.
He got $261,632. How about the Hine family?
No.
$199,728.
So what's your point?
My point is, 7 people on this list were paid $2.4 million by Cabot. Did they do it because they're good neighbors?
They all have the option to pay.
I understand that. No, I didn't say anything. Can I speak?
Mr. Craig, wait a second.
Yes,
I want to keep on the topic.
it is on the top.
Let them speak.
That's fine. Mayor Ryan came here because I met him at the DC hearing. Mayor Ryan came here because I met him at the DEC hearings. I found out the water was being turned off from my friends here on Carter Road and Dimock that have disabled wells from Cabot drilling. That's what the state found, at least. He was nice enough to look into it, talk to the supervisors, and my concern was, if their water is completely safe, which obviously 80% of the people in this room think so, then I'm wondering why, whenever offered, nobody's interested in going over and taking a sip from anybody's water from these wells. If your water is perfect.
Let's go now.
Sorry. Hold on. My water, I live in Silver Lake Township. I have 5 wells gone in around me. I have my water tested every 90 days because I have children. I want to make sure they're safe, just like all of you probably do. And nobody's saying anything. I believe Dimock's a very nice place. I come over quite often. I believe you guys have a very nice community. I'm very sorry that some people in here are fighting amongst each other. And I'll just end it with this. I'm sure some of you recognize that little book there, it's called the Bible. And my problem is, listen to me, my problem is, there's no reason to be fighting. If somebody's having a problem, they'll deal with it with Cabot themselves in a lawsuit, correct? Right. My only concern is, the same people that took money, which was their option to take, now all of a sudden they had a problem that they were paid for, and now all of a sudden they're doing ads in my mulligan I get every week, in the middle of it, talking about how great Cabot is. I'm wondering why they had to be paid $400,000 to do, the Teals then do an ad in the paper, pro-Cabot. I don't mind if their opinion is pro-Cabot, but maybe we could have some people be pro-Cabot that didn't get paid $400,000, and for some reason they don't have any problem with it. My opinion is, I stand for the neighbors who need the water. I'm going to help. We have funds getting ready to have it delivered without having to go through cities. We're just nice enough that Mayor Ryan offered to help and was able to bring water.
Greg, can I ask also before you step down? I knew about this water being shut off, as did everybody else in this room, for almost 2 months.
Right.
Why did you guys make no provisions as to buying maybe a tank for yourself to haul it if you were, so neighborly to each other? I know there's lots of people that have pickup trucks and kind of seem to be around that part of the world.
Guy Parrish, who was paid by Cabot for over a year and a half, over $1.5 million. Did they do that because they're good neighbors? No, they did it because they were liable by the state to do it. But let me answer something. Guy offered, starting Thursday, to deliver water to your neighbors for $100 per delivery per day.
Who's gonna pay for it?
$100. They're going to pay for it. They're going to pay for it.
Who's gonna pay for it?
Who's paying for it?
That's right.
It is?
It is.
Okay.
They want to hire
That's
Guy Parrish for $100 a day, that's.
I understand. So we stepped in to help out. I'm stepping in to help out. Thank you.
So I'd like to address this crowd. My name's Lisa Martin. I've been filming in Bradford County the last 2 years. My documentary is going to be called Cluster Track. And it concerns not the problems with air, land, water that Josh Fox rightly documented, in my opinion. And you have to give your opinion when you're a documentary producer because transparency is the rule. I'm focusing on the deterioration of the social fabric that's caused by this. And I have to tell you, what I'm saying here, well, here's the point. I was not going to sue you if I fell off that ladder. I believe that they wanted not to let people videotape it.
Sorry, Mr. Supervisor, point of issue.
I want to address the question why they waited on the water, because none of them really thought the water was going to be shut off. Okay, so it was, disbelief that really was going to happen. Because the law in Pennsylvania states that, your water has to be restored to its previous condition. And that law has been rewritten here. That's been changed. It's now, we'll give you a methane treatment system and suck it up. I'm sorry, that's how I feel. I looked today this morning, I don't know why, but I was looking at violations. Now, those of you that support Cabot, I really would much rather be in your club. Honestly. When they came to town, I thought it was going to be a good thing. Little piece of the pie, help us build our dream home. Didn't happen. And those of you that want to rewrite history, I won't let you. Because some of you sitting here know very well what happened in the beginning. The violations are there for you to look at. Hundreds of them. Torn liners, pollution discharged to the waters of the Commonwealth. Over and over, in Dimock, just in Dimock.
Are we talking about water?
Pollution to the Commonwealth waters.
We're talking about mutual aid. No, we don't want to hear it.
Just let her speak.
No.
Let her speak. The other lady spoke about houses and how she loves her home. Let her speak.
I'm good, Vera. They need the water because they can't drink their water. Now, I didn't really want to get you guys involved in getting water. I had nothing to do with that. It just happened. I appreciate the mayor's effort. I think that's wonderful. And we have people that care about us in New York. So we need water. People standing here can't drink their water. You can say what you want, but I saw Scott's water. I've seen the water. They're not going to drink it. And if you have children, you wouldn't want your children to drink it. And it's really, the methane is still in 5 households, very high, so this is why they need the water. That's what I'm addressing. They don't just...
Let her speak.
Let her
So
speak.
if
5 minutes.
you bring them water, why should you care? I mean...
Well, I'm gonna have to pay for it.
You don't have to pay for it.
You don't have, if I bring you to old age, you don't have to pay for it.
For now. For now.
Anyway,
certain liability.
if you don't need water, then don't ask for water. But if you need water, why would you make such a big deal about people having water?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's the problem here?
Who are you and where are you from? You forgot to give your name and where you're from.
I apologize. I'm Victoria Schweitzer, and I live in Dimock.
Oh, that's great.
Good, now we want to know.
My name is Tom Slice. I've been a resident of Dimock for over 60 years. I've tried to remain in a neutral stance with all this that's going on, but it's become very, very difficult. If the people on Carter Road have an issue with the water, if they have a case, bring it before the court system and let the court decide. When the court makes a decision, it doesn't make any difference what my opinion is or your opinion is. If you have a case, get it to court, have it heard, and put an end to this nonsense. Don't have people come into Dimock Township from out of this area trying to promote their own agenda. If the people in New York State or Lackawanna County or Monroe County are anti-gas, take it to your county. Don't bring it to Dimock Township.
Last year, when a lot of this was probably at its height, DEP was testing my water every month. They came on their own volition and tested it to make sure that it was okay because I'm in this area. It did spike. I did have to be very careful, but it settled down on its own. These people have been given options. They've been given the choice of a new well or the treatment system. They chose to wait till the last minute. They were given plenty of notice from the state that Cabot was going to be released from giving them water. If they did have a choice of supplying, as that other woman said, if my well did go bad and it had nothing to do with Cabot, I would have to drill a new well. They do have legal options, and they choose not to take them. The township should not even be involved in this, and Binghamton should, I understand that they're having a problem, but they have other options besides trying to nationalize this instead of taking care of it.
I'm Terry Way, I live on Baker Road, and I'm not going to talk about water
water mutual agreement, I'm going to thank these men for taking care of our township. Yeah, they probably work together one day, but they work together doing our roads. So are they supposed to stop? You can only go out, Matt, by yourself, and Jerry, you only go out by yourself, and Paul, you stay in your little office by yourself from now on, okay? Thank you guys, and to those who are calling them and harassing them and leaving nasty messages, shame on you.
Paul? My name is Nolan Scott Ely. I know a lot of you folks, a lot of your neighbors. I know the Cleos and the Gaspers. I helped a lot of you folks out. I used to work for GS/Cabot. I guess they classify me as a whistleblower. I was with that organization from the get-go, and I saw a lot of things go down, a lot of things happen on a lot of locations. People can say what they want to say.
Are you talking about water in the meeting?
Excuse me?
Are you talking about the subject?
I can't hear you.
Are you talking about the subject at hand?
Are you running the meeting?
Are you running the meeting? She didn't talk about the subject at hand. You didn't interrupt her. So let him speak. We don't interrupt your people.
Sure you do.
Go ahead, just get
Go ahead.
your
I'm
point.
just trying to say my sensibility of who I am. I am a resident of Carter Road. Prior to Cabot being here, we started building a home. I have 3 little children in my house. And a lot of people know my children in the school. This is the Amy with my teachers, my daughter. And I know everybody on the board and knows Dan. We had an issue with Cabot, and we never expected this to ever take place. I never thought that we'd have this big corral next to the Township building disputing whether we need water or not. I need water. Now, everybody can say, well, you can clean your water, filter your water, put the separators on. There's more than just methane in your water. We've had many scientists at my residence, and they're really baffled on the water. This issue is strictly between me and Cabot Oil. Now, I appreciate so dearly that when Cabot decided to shut my water off because of the backdoor politics between Cabot Oil and DEP, to shut my water off. That's not my fault. Somehow the mayor of Binghamton stepped in to bring us water, which I found out on Thursday afternoon. I was appreciative of that because I had no other means of getting water in my home. And then I found out that the township had to sign papers to allow us to get water. So I approached Matt Neenan on Thursday, and asked him about this paper he had to sign. He said he had to meet with the rest of the people to discuss with the solicitor on whether it was the right thing to do, or what were the repercussions of signing the letter. So I got a call from Scranton that they said absolutely not. The township said they're not going to give us water. So I went to the township building and I met with Paul. And I had a conversation with Paul for 20 minutes. Now I'm
Clarify that, Nolan, please. Where do we meet?
We met on the road out here.
Flag me down.
I flagged Paul down, not here at the township building, but on down the road here. And we spoke alongside the road. And we were told that we can't do anything until Monday. And then the next thing I know, I hear that we're having a meeting up here. So I come here to find out what this is all about. And I'm not here against you folks at all. We're just looking for water. There's people on our roads, all the way, I know Genteel's the top of the hill. And probably there is no issue with the water. It's funny how the aquifer turns underground. Hydrologists, the specialists, they're the ones that determine, they're like seeing how the water's going this way or that. We're not here to bring Dimock into bad media.
I had, said anything bad about Dimock, that my dispute was with Cabot Oil. And that's why I got attorney to pursue Cabot Oil in court. Cabot Oil decided to do a PR program and involve residents that go against us. I don't understand why. This is just between the people that are in the lawsuit, Cabot Oil, and let's take care of this in court. But they decided to bring everybody else into it and make such a big ordeal out of it, and give Dimock a bad name. We certainly did.
Your father's name was Ken, right?
Yeah, he passed away 2 years ago.
Now,
He had a heart attack.
your stepmother, she's still alive.
Yes, I have a stepmother.
She's got a well?
No, they do not. My father's estate, I'm taking care of.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I want to speak.
My name is Vera Robbins, and I'm from Silver Lake Township. I just want to say a simple thing. Anyone who's interested in drinking the water, I've seen the water, I've seen the tests, and there are chemicals and contaminants in the water. And Mr. Grimsley, you said you would drink it, so I'd like to come to one of the
the one we kicked off our land because you wouldn't leave?
Shut down for 3 weeks for your violations. Contaminating the land.
Go ahead, talk about the issue.
I want to control you as well. I want to stick to the topic.
Go ahead.
Let him speak. Let him talk. But please stick to the topic.
So the topic is,
Should we?
yes, you should accept the water for the people. There's no liability as far as I can see on your side, and I would like to see the solicitor speak so he can explain it. If he should have spoke first, I feel, and explain this whole thing, whatever you're reading over there, so educate us on that document. And then see how we feel about it. If you want water for the people, there's people that need water in this town. Not everybody has clean water, and it's not just this town, it's also other parts of our county and other parts of our state. You are not unique. And then drink it, Mr. Grimsley.
I drink it every day. I drink water out of my well every
Come to
day.
Ely's and drink it.
I will. Let it get hooked back up and run for a while.
How long? Just let us know. You'll
Let it get clean. It'll run.
Bob Schumacher, I live in Jessup Township. And I've probably worked in some of you guys' houses here, I don't know, I know quite a few people in Dimock, and I guess I always thought it was a neighborhood place.
Yes,
I'm Susan Koneski, I'm from Springfield Township. We have a business there. We're surrounded by 13 wells. Okay, not on our property. Our water's fine. My question to you supervisors is, I don't understand if DEP has said that it's drinkable water, and EPA has now said it's drinkable water. What is the problem? I don't understand. Are there separate testings going on from independent testers that are saying these 11 families have different water than everybody else? Is that what's going on? But that's not what I'm hearing from DEP and EPA. Okay? That's what I'm understanding. If they're saying water's drinkable, you know, I don't understand what all the controversy is about in the first place. Thank you.
Can I just speak for one more minute? You know, if we're talking about liability here, I think we should really consider allowing water to be delivered until the court, in case he makes a good point, It should be decided by the courts, eventually it will, but it's not gonna happen for a while. But people don't have water, they feel like they can't drink their water until then. So why not let people help until then? That's exactly what I said to Michael Kanzer when I talked to him, the DEP. He said this is just a neighborly dispute between neighbors. There's nothing wrong with the water, that's what he claims. But I said, but there is still a lawsuit going on. Why not let people, if people are really afraid for their families not to drink the water, and I'm telling you, they have good reasons to be, then let them. I would suggest if you're the legal part of it, I would suggest that if you don't sign this agreement tonight, that you're setting yourself up for a big lawsuit, because if these people. So let me speak and we'll have a nice debate, okay? I'm just suggesting something, that if you don't allow water to be delivered, and we just heard that it would cost these people $100 a day to have water delivered at least, and they can't afford it, and some of them already turned on their water. Wait a second. Some of them have already turned on their water. Are you willing to take the chance that if they do get sick from that water, they're going to come back and say, you had an opportunity. You had an opportunity to have clean water delivered from other communities, and you made them turn. Well, the lawsuit is still going on. There's still a lawsuit going on.
Said about the Teals and whoever else said about taking the money, is that going to make everything okay with everybody involved as soon as they get their money? It'll all just go away for them also, or what? Why shouldn't we haul them water until this? I mean, they got themselves into it.
You're not going to haul the water, we're going to haul the water.
That's not fair.
Why should we even sign and give you permission? What do you want back for this? That's
Nothing.
the question never answered. Why is it called mutual aid? Right at the top.
Mutual aid. You're making a decision in front of all the public before.
Mayor, you know what? You keep your nose in Binghamton, I'll give you that advice. We'll worry about this.
What I think could be a problem legally, you said you wanted to consider, your own resident said we should consider the liability of this. I think that if you don't go forward with this agreement, you could end up being liable. Are you aware?
Just respond to that by pointing out that there's liability that goes both ways here.
And they have signed. I have written things from liability from their attorneys saying that they will hold harmless the town of Dimock, and they will hold harmless the city of Binghamton for delivering anything to do with water.
I've seen it. That doesn't mean I have any great confidence.
No, you haven't seen the ones I have.
I don't have any great confidence either in the financial prospects of the city of Binghamton or whatever other party you're talking about. So these indemnity agreements.
No, they're holding you harmless. They're holding you harmless. You don't. That means you don't have any liability. It has nothing to do with me.
What's
You're talking
mutual
about
mean?
the city of Binghamton.
They would hold if we make
Who's
deliveries.
the other party, by the way?
What?
Who's the other party?
What do you mean?
We were talking about you have hold harmless.
Why do we
From
need to agree
the
with the
attorneys representing the people on Carter Road. The attorneys will hold, for anybody that makes a delivery to them, they will not only hold you harmless, they will hold anybody making a delivery harmless. So what I'm suggesting is, if you don't accept this agreement, and some of those people turn their water back on, and they get sick, that's all I'm saying.
Why did you do this to Frank Sutton, not directly to the supervisor? Why did you do this?
Yeah, because they asked me to. He was over at the house.
I'm sorry.
He was over at the house.
He wasn't over at the house when we received this.
No, Craig
called
he knew
with
you
this
were coming,
document,
so I had it
did he
faxed.
not? Why did you not send it directly to us?
Because
nobody
was answering the phone from your offices.
Get real.
Can you deliver it without them signing?
publicity to get some more business?
No, the fact is, you want me to answer? You want me to answer? I don't practice right now. I can't practice because the only job I can do is be mayor of Binghamton.
You ain't doing too good at that.
He just asked me a question, I'll answer it for you. He asked me why I'm doing this, because I would think, just like the gentleman who was so understated right over there, I think we're all neighbors. No, it doesn't matter what the state of Pennsylvania line means. We're all neighbors and we should help each other when they're in need. I am only trying to help these people get water. And I cannot believe that you guys are going to take a position that would keep water away from your neighbors. That's right.
Deliver the water without anybody signing a paper. Deliver the water without anybody signing a paper. Then don't worry about it.
Sam will tell you I can't do it.
Okay.
Stay out of it though.
They said that it cost $5 for a year and a half to deliver water for $1.5 million. And I'm saying that Dimock cannot afford this. If they could get water from the Sierra Club facility.
Are we done with the speakers? If so, then I'll ask our solicitors.
In the interest of fair disclosure, I have to say that Matt and I have known each other for a long time, if I can call you Matt. We played golf together for many years up in the Triple Cities area.
And I don't cheat, right?
Never said you did. And secondly, we appreciate your offer, we truly do. And it may sound as though there's some difference of opinion on that, but I think everybody here really appreciates the offer. If I could only get you to be that generous on the golf course and give me those 2 foot putts. But the question that the township has posed to me as the solicitor is whether or not there is authority in the township, second-class township code, to make a request for mutual aid to an out-of-state municipality to supply water for private residences. And I find no authority in the second-class township code that would authorize this township to do that. Even if there were such authority and they wanted to make that request, it would seem logical that we should make it to our own state where we pay taxes rather than to a neighboring state. I furthermore see some significant liability issues here for the township if they should enter into a joint venture with the city of Binghamton to provide water, or with anybody else other than the city of Binghamton, it could be anyone. If they were to be involved in a joint venture of supplying water to private residences. So if people want to, out of the goodness of their own heart, provide water to these 11 families, that's fine. The question is whether the township should be involved in that joint venture. And from that standpoint, the legal answer is no.
Is there any other discussion?
I have a different topic. Can I, but it goes to you guys.
No.
Next month.
Any further discussion on aid request? Open for a motion.
I make a motion, we don't sign it. I second it.
I second
Motion seconded. We'll will not request aid from the city of Binghamton.